Hey guys, welcome back. It has been a long time. I will be posting a video. This is the video right up here. I will add that in an editing. Explaining just why I've been gone. Short and reason. I've been looking for new content that's going to be entertaining and practicing a bit of my editing skills. But anyway, you guys are here for the Lexington and Concord April Fool's event and other stuff that came out on this day. So let's hop into it with the first battle, which I think is the battle for the moon. It's really interesting. This right here is the Battle for the Moon map. It is filled with a bunch of craters, and the two teams in this map are the Space Marines and the Plutonians, I think they were. A lot of the fighting takes place in these craters as the rest of the land is open, as you can see. And it's really interesting. It almost reminds me of like a gigantic no man's land from World War I, where you're going crater to crater, fighting, and once you get into an enemy crater, you're very rarely using your gun. It's a lot of melee fighting. All the weapons are the same. It's just retextured skins, which are pretty basic, but I think it has a nice little flair on it. As you can see, these are the Space Marine skins. They're astronauts, pretty basic. And these are the Plutonian skins, the alien skins, which are also Roblox 3 models. But they're made by Roblox, obviously, both these skins. But it's really cool. Up on top, here is a little bit of gameplay of how, it was to play in the game. Right now, I am playing as an officer. It's nice, though, to have a sapper and build, like, little bases going crater to crater. But this is what an officer's experience would be like, firing over these little ridges. And, yeah, it's really all about accuracy and hitting your target when they pop their heads up. I'm going to speed through just, like, some clips of the battle now, just so you can kind of see how it might have been like. And then we'll go on to the next battle. The next notable thing is that the Robloxia Crossroader battles are back. I don't know if they're going to stay or how long they are staying, but I'm pretty certain that they're here to stay for a while, as they've added some new, really nicely detailed maps. They've got all the old maps plus Robloxia HQ. I'll put a list of all the maps on the top of the screen up here, but they have new maps, and I'll go over a quick description of some of them, and probably a longer description for some of the more intriguing ones. First battle we got here is the skirmish on glass houses. This has the old Roblox classic glass houses and towers and other things. This map is another tricky one because it's surprisingly open and the houses are completely made out of glass, which allows fire to just break through them. The towers, if you get to the top, you will instantly be shot down by enemies. And it was just an overall hard map for me to play, but it's super fun, and I recommend you get the chance to try it. The towers are also very hard to defend because there are multiple entrances. But this map has a lot of potential for cool bases under the towers, or in the towers, or in the glass houses. You just have to be careful. Next, we have the Battle of Robloxia HQ, whereas it does spawn you in a relatively safe place. This is definitely one of the hardest Robloxia maps, as all this glass can be shot through, and until you get to the top layers of the towers, there is absolutely no cover. The land around is completely flat, but these basement bars do provide nice shooting opportunities for unsuspecting enemies who think they are safe. Overall, it's hilarious to shoot people through the glass on this map and see people tumbling down from giant stairs, but it is definitely hard to survive long, and this map gets done very quickly. This map is the neighborhood of Robloxia. This map is a siege map, and it's really interesting. Because if you've ever played Concord, once you kill everyone, you can conquer the other point, right? Well, in, say, Yorktown, which is a siege map, you can't go back and capture the other point. That's what makes this an interesting siege map, except there's unlimited respawns. And as you can see, you can drive cars. Yes, running people over with them does work. And even better, if some sappers want to have a little fun, you probably could make an armored car because you can build on these things, and it is hilarious. Up here we have the railroad tracks, which are surprisingly hard to capture considering it makes you a target for all open fire. And even better, a train comes every now and then, and although you can hear it, it's pretty hard over all the gunfire, and it's hilarious to see it run over whole teams. Like this, or like this. Once you capture the train tracks, you move on to the factory, which is a lot of open skirmishes until you get there, and once you get there, heavy melee fighting, or with short-ranged weapons like the officer's pistol. As you can see, the interior has a cramped, close-quarters style, but is also big enough for firearms and makes an interesting mix of battles. Its capture point is pretty large compared to other maps, and even just this battle like the railroad tracks, and it's really fast. It'll be taken really fast either way, depending on what team gets there first and gets a flag bearer in there. Then you move up with some closer skirmishes to 28 pixel statue, which is completely open. Unless you get a sapper up here, it's a lot of firearms and hiding behind the statue like I'm doing right here. It's definitely strange to be fighting over this, but again, this point is taken rather quickly. After capturing the statue, this last push, at least to me, is surely to be the hardest, as it's very exposed and the enemy has a well position that's well defendable, and this little hedge right here in this parking lot took forever for me and my team to get past, as it had sharp corners and was just overall pretty difficult to get to the clinic. And after the enemy repulsed our forces, they began to try and take back the statue, which luckily my team had a flag bearer up here, and we eliminated the enemy threat pretty quickly. But you gotta be careful, because once you take enough casualties, the enemy is going to push back hard. For my team, it was slow, painstaking work to get up to the clinic, and once we got up to the clinic, my game began lagging pretty badly. But luckily, you don't need to capture the inside of the clinic. You need to capture the parking lot, which may be even harder. But the clinic, it's interesting. The clinic actually has a very nice interior inside, and it makes for some interesting combat. Overall, this map is very fun, goofy, and insanely detailed, with insides being fully furnished, and everything just being pretty fun to look around and see, and sometimes annoying when a train or a car runs you over. I would definitely recommend trying this, as long as you have something better than my iPad that I use, because once we got to the clinic, it was lagging really badly. Last but not least, we have a popular Napoleonic War battle, the Battle of Hogama. Excuse me if I'm saying that wrong. And it is very interesting to see how nicely detailed this is. And it's really nice. The French team skins are beautiful, except for a questionable officer's uniform. Other than that, the French and British have very detailed uniforms. The map is very detailed and fun to play in. It's almost like if you're playing Guts and Black Powder PvP, because that's a private server mode if you didn't know. Windows can be boarded up in this map, and overall, defending the house makes for a very good fort and an interesting way for skirmishes through some tight hallways and some other open spaces, as long as you don't get shot out of the many windows. On this map, of course, as it as it's based off history. It also has the side garden, which makes for very interesting skirmishes and great flanking maneuvers, as long as you're careful for long-range fire, which obviously I was not. Overall, this map makes for some fun battles, interesting skirmishes, and is great to see in Lexington and Concord, though I don't think it's going to be staying. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learning about this really fun April Fool's event, which, depending on when you're watching it, may still be going. Please consider subscribing, as it took me very long to get some of these battles, and I had to join multiple different servers. Especially for the Siege map, the Battle of Robloxia, that took me a very long time. But thanks for watching, it's been a while, and I'll see you in another video.